Hey, it's Lacey Broussard, and this is the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast. From sex and motherhood, birth and relationships, communication and intimacy building, and Taoism and Tantra, we explore topics such as self-care, self-pleasure, body image, jade, the feminine cycles, creativity in business, and modern spirituality. The Multi-Orgasmic Mama is a place to come for true stories and transformational advice on how to be a mama and a multi-orgasmic woman too. All right, mamas, it's Lacey here, and I'm going to be totally transparent with you today and tell you that this is the first podcast I have ever done completely unscripted, and I have no idea what I'm actually going to tell you today. Other than we're going to talk about pleasure as power, okay? So this podcast is in particularly for women entrepreneurs who are running a business and it doesn't quite feel like the exciting career that you thought it would be when you quit your 9-to-5 job anymore, because you're trying to get this business off the ground and running, and it kind of feels more like too much work, and it kind of feels depressing and sad and frustrating because you're not getting the clients that you want to be getting, and you're not making the money that you know you should be and totally deserve to be making because you have amazing gifts and abilities to give, and it's just not happening for you. And because it's not happening for you, you're rocking the boat in your relationship. Things just aren't really working out with the business. Oh my God, let me tell you how I have so been there. Let's tell that story real quickly. In 2011, I was a city planner, and I got told that I needed to wear red lipstick to work, and I got fussed at not only fussed at, but like sent to HR because my boss walked in on me when my door was closed and I was breast pumping for my breastfeeding baby who is 9 months old at the time. Yeah, I got fussed at and threatened actually for my job when I had to go pick up my 9-month-old from daycare when he had a 105-degree fever. So I didn't have any family in town. I had just moved there like 2 days before starting the job. And I didn't have anybody to go pick him up. And I just remember being like, fuck this. Fuck this. If this is how I'm going to be treated as a single mom with kids, like this isn't even worth the money that I'm sitting here getting paid for, right? And it only took about 3 months before I decided, screw this. I will do whatever in the world I need to do to show my kids that I can be successful and I can make money doing what I love in this world. So guess what I did 2 weeks later after quitting my job? I went to a doula workshop in Houston, Texas, which was about 4 hours away from where I lived at the time. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just living on a wing and a prayer that, if I followed my bliss, something would work out eventually. Like I would eventually figure it out. So I started working as a doula at a birth center, which was really beneficial for me because I had pretty high volume clientele, which was great because in many places it's hard to get clients as a doula if you're not like in blessed beginnings, which I kind of feel like I was. So I was able to support myself as a single mom with 2 babies. I had a 10-month-old at the time and a 3-year-old. And after doing that for a few years, I was like, this is really cool, but I feel like I'm playing really small here. I know that I'm meant to do more with my life. And what really intrigued me was taking my business online and being able to share my message with the entire world and not just, Lafayette, Louisiana, where I lived at the time. So I was on an email list of Layla Martin, which if you've listened to my podcast before, you probably know that she's my Tantra teacher, did all of her courses and her Tantric Institute of Integrated Sexuality. And I got an email from her one day where she was talking about B School with Marie Forleo. So that's short for business school, right? And I knew right then and there I needed to sign up for it. It was like an 8-week course on how to start and run an online business, which I already knew I wanted to do. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And I do nothing about business really. So I signed up, and as a bonus, I got to take the jdag course, which totally changed my life, as you probably already know. The jdag course totally sent me into my own sexual awakening. Yeah, it brought me back home to my body. While at the same time, I got to learn how to do online business. So it's really a win-win. And what transformed and transpired from there was, eventually I went on to do sex, love, and relationship coaching training, which I completed last year. And I started doing sex, love, and relationship coaching. I started offering different things. And for the first few months, it was like, what do I have to do to be successful and make a decent living doing this? It was like I was doing all the right things. I was following all the formulas. I was doing everything I was taught to do from B school, everything I was taught to do in business, from other trainings I had done. It was just like, oh my God, what is it? Am I just not in alignment? Am I just not doing this? Am I just not, what the fuck is it to where I'm just not getting the success and the clients and the money that I know I'm meant to be making, because I have these amazing abilities to transform people's sex lives, their relationship to their body, their relationships with their partners. And, I knew I had these incredible gifts and abilities to offer people, and I just couldn't make it work until about 4 months ago. And what changed for me was that I stopped doing all the shit that everyone told me I needed to do. And I had a fierce dedication to only doing what felt good in the moment. You might have heard this before from different influencers, but when you follow your pleasure, it leads you to the things that are actually like magnetic, like the things that are effortless for you are what magnetizes people to you, because they're so effortless. Like you don't even think about it and you just attract people to you, right? Because they're like, how do you do that? So what I'm wanting to talk to you about today is how your pleasure is your greatest superpower. Pleasure is power. And until you realize this, until you really understand how coming home to your body, how connecting to your pleasure and having a fierce dedication to, when you're looking at your to-do list and see all of these 500 things you need to do, when you look at it and say, which one of these things would be the most pleasurable thing to do right now? And you actually do that instead of doing the things that you think you need to do. That's what draws people to you. Okay. So yes, this is what I did to have business success, to support myself. So of course, I've been going through this whole transition of getting divorced, moving 2 hours away from where I've been for the last 7 years. And actually just stayed with a bunch of friends and family for those 3 months so I could get myself together, figure out what I was going to do. I had to get my kids in school. It was like a complete transition period for me. So I spent 3 months couch surfing, not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. And I just had this fierce dedication that I was going to do whatever felt good. And you know what? If I didn't feel like doing this, then fuck it, I wasn't going to do it. If I didn't feel like making the podcast today because it had to get out on a Wednesday, you know what? Fuck it. I wasn't going to put it out on Wednesday. I was going to put it out on Thursday instead. And you know what? Maybe even Friday, which I've done that a few times. But you know what? Nobody's emailed me to be like, where's your podcast? You didn't upload it today. Like all the fears you have are just totally like irrelevant, really. What I have created out of my own pleasure and desire is my new Sexiest Book Mamas Club. Because you know what? When I put out my new website, themultiorgasmicmama.com, about 2 months ago now, I put it out in June and it's now August. I realized, you know what? this website is sexy as fuck, and I am one sexy as fuck mama, and I am so connected to my pleasure and turn on. And this is what's actually bringing clients to me, is that I'm like not following anybody's rules, any of the business coaches or the trainings. It was all just like, fuck that shit. Like, none of that's working for me. And I just started doing what made me happy and what felt good. I was like, you know what? I want to post these pictures on my website, and they're very revealing and very sexy, and that's just what feels good for me right now. And I did it, and it was this huge up leveling. It was this huge expansion for me of like, wow, I can do this and I can still be safe. I can do this and I'm still loved, and I can do this and I'll still belong to my tribe. And that's what becomes absolutely magnetic and effortless to attract and magnetize people to you. So one thing that I kind of liken tapping into pleasure as your greatest power is like, dude, if you had $100,000 in the bank to help start your business, would you not tap into it to actually start your business? Well, of course not. So it's the same with your pleasure and turn on. That's like your 100K in the bank. Like, if you're not completely in love with your sexy as fuck self, you're not going to be magnetic. You're not going to feel confident doing sales calls. You're not going to ask and charge the rates that you know that you're worth. Your pleasure and turn on are your greatest business superpowers. So this is the inspiration of the Sexiest Fuck Mamas Club and the Sexiest Fuck Mamas business coaching program that I have just created. Okay. So how it works is that it's going to be a 10-session program. So it's a big commitment, ladies. I'm not going to lie. I only want to work with women who are hugely committed to reaching the next level in their business and who are fiercely committed to having the best relationship and sex life that they have ever had, because I don't want to work with people that are half-assed on their commitment, because they don't get the results that they want. So if you are someone who is fiercely committed and like, fuck yeah, I want to run my business from my pleasure and turn on, that is what I want to offer people, is to learn how to source your own pleasure and energy from your body so that you can actually put out things in the world that turn you on, that make you fucking magnetic and radiant as you have ever been, that make people be like, what the fuck does she have that I don't have? Like, I need some of that, So the program will go like this. It's 5 jdag coaching sessions. Why do I work with the jdag? Well, the jdag is the most powerful, really somatic tool that you can use. It's like a physical tool, right? It's an egg-shaped stone that you put up your vagina and you do like yoga for your vagina with. So this egg is so powerful and connecting you back to your body and to feeling more self-love than you have ever had in your life, to feeling more in your pleasure than you have ever been, that it brings up all of your shit. So when you start working with a jade egg, it's like going to bring up your shit around money and sex. Some people have been like, well, what does my business and my sex life have in common? And I'm like, everything. So yeah, both money and sex are root chakra issues, right? These are both very basic needs, and they are both the same energies. They're both very dense, earthy, primal energies. Our ability to survive comes from money, right? And then our ability to survive as a species comes from our sexuality too. So they're very basic things. So they have actually everything in common. So your ability to receive pleasure is very much linked to your ability to receive money and clients that mean money, right? So if you're not able to receive pleasure, if you're not able to tap into that, how are you expecting yourself to tap into clients and money? Like, they just go hand in hand. So if you're not able to get into one, like, how can you expect yourself to get the other? So the program is really all about giving you this physical tool to help you connect to your body again and to experience the most amount of pleasure possible to you, to heal from the sexual trauma that you may have experienced. Everyone has sexual trauma in some form of another. Like, I don't think anyone in our day and age could have escaped some sort of guilting and shaming, some sort of sexual harassment or abuse, or even the terrible, horrible things such as rape. Like, almost all of us have been subject to some sort of sexual trauma. So we all have healing to do around our sexuality and our bodies. And in the jdag sessions, we also really connect you back to your wild primal nature. Like, women long to feel their wild, sexy selves, but there's barely any place in society for women to feel safe actually being just truly orgasmic and to be able to sound and express however they want to sound, right? So we work on really opening up this wildness inside of you. And then we do a sexy session where you really get to connect to how much are you allowing yourself to be and feel sexy. Like, I work with a lot of women that are like totally not inhabiting their sexy as fuck self like they could, and that I know that they could if they just let themselves go there. So that session is really all about like turning up the dial on how much you allow yourself to be sexy. And then we really work on pleasure being power, like the power of your pelvis and everything that lies inside of there. The pelvis and the womb and the cervix, that's the power center of women in general, okay? Like, we source our power from this area, yet we have been so disconnected from our womb and our intuition and our souls, which live in our lower belly. We have been so connected from these things for centuries and centuries that, like, we just don't even remember that this power lies inside of us. So the power session is really about actually feeling the power of your own muscles in your pelvic floor and really strengthening that and connecting to this fiery power inside of you. So all of the jdag sessions, you get recordings of each of those. So you take them home and you do them, and they will absolutely change your life. You will never have sex the same way. You will not look at your body the same way anymore. Like, you will fall in love with yourself more than you ever have. You will have stronger and longer lasting orgasms. You'll have a toned and more healthy and strengthened pelvic floor. All of these benefits are things that the jdag does. So not only do we do 5 jdag sessions, but we also, in between all of the jdag sessions, we do sex, love, and relationship coaching sessions where we combined with sex, love, and relationship coaching and business coaching, because the money and the sex are the same, okay? So when you're working on one, you're actually working on the other, even though you might not even realize it. So when we are taking away all of the blocks from you really experiencing the full amount of pleasure capacity that you have inside of you, what you're also doing is removing all the blocks that are keeping you from experiencing the abundance that lives inside of you too, because your body as a woman, as a female in general, is meant to receive exquisite amounts of pleasure. Okay, you're not even males have this. You are one of the only living organisms that has an organ strictly dedicated to experiencing pleasure. It has no other function. That's the clitoris. Men don't even have that, okay? If your body is saying, hey, you're designed for pleasure, then why are we not tapping into that? So yes, we will dive in to your body mind to see what's going on that's keeping you from experiencing pleasure and turn on in your life, in your business, in your relationship, in your sex life. Like, there's so much there to uncover. Like, I've been working on this for years and I still get coached all of the time and uncover new pieces. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe that was there after 4 years of working on this shit. So yes, there's always another layer to peel back and to discover. And in those 5 sessions, they are very deep. They are very somatic based, and we go into the body mind and we discover what's keeping you there. Who are the subpersonalities, the identities? What are the stories that you've told yourself? What are the the emotions that come up for you? What are the feelings inside of your body that you feel around you experiencing having what you want to have, And we really work through those to not only get clarity and to hopefully come to acceptance of all of these pieces, but to empower you with a supportive piece. Because if you're coming to me for this type of coaching, then there's obviously something inside of you that wants to experience, you up-leveling in this way, that wants you to experience you having exquisite amounts of success in your business and to experience the most amazing sex you've ever had, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here listening to this podcast or talking to me. So in the regular coaching sessions, it's always my goal to leave you off empowering a supportive piece so that you can go out into the world, take the steps you need to take, not the steps that I tell you to take. So I think this is the big difference here between me and, the regular business coaches and people prescribing formulas that to do this and to do that, is that I'm not telling you what to do. We're going in and discovering what your own inner wisdom and your own intuition is telling you what to do. And then I give you homework, I give you meditations, I give you sexuality practices, I give you your jdag practices. You get all these things to go home and try out and do. And, do them. And then you see that when you're connecting to your pleasure and your turn on, it makes you magnetic and radiant in a way that people are like, I got to work with her. What is she offering? Like, what is she doing? Yes. If you're interested in being part of the Sexiest Fuck Mamas coaching program, all you need to do is go look up the multiorgasmicmama.com/coaching. And you can send me a little message saying that you're interested in the program, and I'll contact you to set up a phone call to talk with you about it to see if I can really help you. Because again, I only want to work with women who are super this is what I want. I want to run my business for my pleasure and turn on. Lacey, show me how. I'm willing to do whatever you tell me. I'm willing to do this funny little jdag practice that you talk about all of the time that I don't even know if it works. Well, guess what? You don't need to know if it works. You just use it and see what happens, because it's magic sourced from your own body. Your body is magical. Your pleasure is fucking magical. So you just try it and you see what happens. And I promise you will start attracting the clients. You will start attracting the money. You will start actually wanting to initiate sex. You will start having the courage to go out and date again if you are not with a partner right now. This work is powerful beyond belief. So if you're interested, head to the multiorgasmicmama.com/coaching. And I look forward to hearing from you. And if not, it's totally cool too. I'm very grateful to have you as a listener. And stay tuned for more podcasts soon. All right, bye.